The winter of 1963 descended upon Britain like a silent, merciless enemy. From the frosted lanes of rural villages to the crowded, soot-streaked streets of industrial towns, a bitter cold gripped the nation, halting everyday life in its icy embrace. Rivers froze, canals transformed into slick mirrors of ice, and snow lay in thick, unyielding blankets, turning even the familiar into a perilous landscape. Central heating was a luxury few could afford. Coal was scarce, and the wind cut through woolen garments with a sharp, unforgiving edge. Families huddled in drafty homes, ration books clutched like treasures, while children skated on frozen ponds that shimmered under the pale winter sun. Life slowed, and survival became an art, a careful choreography between warmth, sustenance, and resilience. Today, we're exploring 10 things ordinary Brits did to survive the harsh winter of 1963, the strategies that defined endurance in one of the coldest winters of the 20th century. Number 1. Stockpiling coal and firewood. For the working-class family in 1963, warmth was life itself, and coal the lifeblood of survival. Basements and backyards became storehouses of black lumps, heaped high in anticipation of snowstorms that could last for weeks. Children watched, wide-eyed, as fathers lugged sacks from horse-drawn carts or old vans, their faces red from exertion and the icy wind. Firewood, chopped into neat stacks, waited patiently by hearths that had long been scrubbed and polished, ready to roar with heat. Neighbors traded tips on sourcing the last remaining coals, whispers of secret supplies circulating like gold. Even the smallest household prided itself on careful rationing. A fire burned in measured bursts, each log a precious ember of life. Smoke curled through chimneys like a gray sentinel, marking both survival and community resilience. The crackling hearth became a center of domestic ritual, families drawn close as the storm raged outside, the warmth a fragile yet defiant shield against the winter's merciless bite. Number 2. Layering clothes and bedding. Layers were salvation. Mothers piled scarves, woolen vests, thick skirts, and heavy socks upon their families, creating a patchwork of warmth that had little regard for fashion. Nighttime became a fortress of blankets, quilts, and eiderdowns stacked high, each layer trapping precious heat against the cold that seeped through stone walls. Children often awoke tangled in these layers, cheeks rosy, breath steaming in the frigid air, while parents dozed lightly, listening for creaks in icy windows or the whistle of the wind. Wool was prized above all, spun from local sheep, its fibers a barrier against frostbite. Knitting was not merely a pastime, it was essential. Every hat, glove, and scarf produced at home could mean the difference between comfort and suffering. In towns and villages alike, shopkeepers displayed thick overcoats and blankets behind frost-streaked windows, reminders that warmth was attainable, though not always affordable. The layering of clothing became an intimate ritual of survival, an embrace woven from threads of care, foresight, and necessity. Number 3. Community cooperation. In the dead of winter, isolation was perilous, and yet communities drew together like moths to a flame. Neighbors shared firewood, exchanged hot meals, and looked after children when parents labored in snow-laden streets or fields. The village hall transformed into a sanctuary, stoves blazing as locals gathered to trade stories, laughter mingling with the aroma of porridge and stew. In industrial towns, factory workers huddled together during lunch breaks, keeping spirits alight while frost crept under worn coats. Letters were delivered with difficulty, sometimes delayed for days, yet those who could offer a helping hand became invaluable. Elderly residents, often unable to manage the cold alone, were wrapped in layers and escorted through treacherous footpaths. Churches opened their doors as emergency shelters, their stone interiors resonating with quiet prayers and the hum of hissing radiators. Survival was never purely individual. It was communal. The winter, harsh and unforgiving, demanded a reliance on trust, generosity, And human warmth beyond the hearth, a reminder that even in the coldest of times, solidarity could ignite life. Number 4. Creative cooking and food preservation. When the frost nipped at doorsteps and snow blocked the streets, kitchens became laboratories of survival. Fresh vegetables were scarce. Bread sometimes frozen into blocks that had to be thawed before slicing. Housewives and mothers relied on ingenuity. Soups simmered for hours over low fires, turning meager ingredients into nourishing feasts. Leftovers were carefully preserved, pickled, or boiled down into stews that stretched across days. Root vegetables, carrots, parsnips, potatoes became staples, stored in cold cellars where the temperature lingered just above freezing, their flavors intensified by the winter's embrace. Eggs were kept in water or straw, milk rationed meticulously. Every crumb was accounted for, every bone simmered for stock, each action a quiet defiance of scarcity. In city flats, rationing books dictated meals, but families discovered new ways to combine ingredients, transforming survival into subtle culinary artistry. Even the humblest kitchens became theaters of resilience, the hiss of boiling pots and the scent of baked bread offering comfort as the world outside was blanketed in unrelenting white. Number 5. Traveling on ice and snow. Movement became a battle. Streets were not merely frozen, they were treacherous, polished by wind and frost into glassy hazards that threatened every step. Children strapped makeshift sledges to legs, gliding to school with cheeks burning, eyes squinting against the glare of snow. Adults traversed slippery cobbles with the careful precision of acrobats, sometimes using walking sticks tipped with iron or improvised sandbags for traction. Horses and carts, still in use on rural roads, slipped and skidded, their drivers coaxing them with gentle commands and bursts of warmth. Trains slowed or were canceled, buses became rare prizes, and some relied on long walks over frozen fields, paths obscured by drifts that could swallow a man's boots. Yet travel was necessary to fetch coal, visit family, or deliver letters. Those who braved the elements were marked by determination, their breath steaming in the crisp air, their eyes reflecting both exhaustion and resolve. Every journey was an adventure, a trial, a testament to endurance in a world turned white and unforgiving. Number 6. Indoor games and entertainment. With snow piling against windows and winds shrieking through chimneys, homes became islands of refuge. Children and adults alike turned to indoor amusements to stave off the creeping despair of endless gray days. Card games, dominoes, and improvised board games spread across tables, their wooden surfaces scratched and polished from years of play. Families told stories, voices rising and falling in rhythm with the crackle of the fire, conjuring laughter that defied the frost pressing against the walls. Radios were treasured portals to the wider world. Broadcasts of the BBC offered news, music, and serialized dramas that transported listeners far beyond the icebound streets outside. Neighbors sometimes gathered for informal concerts or sing-alongs, sharing the warmth of companionship. The arts of patience and imagination became survival tools. Each laugh, each tale, each note of song a small victory over isolation. Even the humblest home found moments of joy, proving that the human spirit could outshine the bleakest winter when hearth and heart were united. Number 7. Ingenuity in home heating. Few homes had central heating, and many lacked sufficient insulation, so innovation became a matter of life and death. Families stuffed curtains with old blankets, pinned draft excluders along doors, and layered newspapers under floorboards to trap heat. Coal fires were carefully tended, embers banked at night to retain warmth, while kettles and cooking pots acted as secondary radiators, their metal surfaces radiating heat long after the flames had died down. Children were sometimes tucked near stoves or heated irons, the domestic ingenuity of parents ensuring survival by turning ordinary objects into lifelines. Neighbors exchanged tips on stove maintenance, sharing coal-saving techniques and chimney cleaning hacks. The hum of a fire, The subtle warmth rising from a radiator or a simmering pot became the rhythm of daily life, an invisible guardian against frost. In 1963, heating was not merely comfort, it was strategy, a constant negotiation with the cold that demanded attention, foresight, and creative intelligence from every household. Number 8. Keeping livestock and gardens alive. In rural Britain, survival extended beyond the home. Sheep, pigs, and chickens were lifelines, and the frost threatened both their health and the family's sustenance. Farmers wrapped delicate plants in straw and burlap, created windbreaks from branches, and dug trenches to divert snowmelt, preserving the fragile balance of winter crops. Horses pulling carts were blanketed and fed extra hay, while poultry were sheltered in barns layered with straw and heated, where possible, by lamps or hot bricks. Families checked livestock multiple times a day, braving snowdrifts that rose to knee height, ensuring water did not freeze and that animals could feed. Gardens, often the only source of fresh vegetables, were meticulously maintained, with soil covered in protective layers and crops harvested as soon as frost allowed. The rhythm of tending animals and plants became a daily ritual, a delicate negotiation with nature itself. Every life saved, every sprout preserved, was a triumph against the relentless cold, proof that human diligence could bend even winter to necessity. Number 9. Adaptive work and school routines. The winter reshaped daily schedules. Children trudged to school through thick drifts, often hours late or forced to stay home, while teachers adapted lessons to sporadic attendance. Factories and offices faced closures when transport froze, yet workers who did arrive labored in unheated spaces, wrapped in layers, their breath fogging in the air. Postmen delivered letters only when routes were passable, and shopkeepers adjusted hours to cope with snow-blocked streets. Agricultural laborers rose before dawn, navigating fields glazed in ice, their work slowed but never fully halted. Communities improvised. Schools hosted afternoon classes when mornings were impossible, and cooperative arrangements were made for essential work. The nation's rhythm slowed but did not stop. In every town and village, citizens demonstrated remarkable flexibility, a quiet resilience that balanced responsibility with survival. Each adaptation, each compromise, was an acknowledgement that life must continue even under extreme adversity, and that ingenuity was as vital as courage when frost threatened to claim every routine. Number 10. Preserving spirits and hope. Beyond warmth, food, and shelter, survival demanded morale. Families cultivated hope as carefully as they stacked coal. Fireside conversations recounted past hardships endured, stories of resilience passed from parent to child. Neighbors checked in not only to trade provisions, but to share laughter and companionship. Music, whether from a piano, gramophone, or singing, echoed through homes, defying the howling winds outside. Children made snowmen and skated on frozen ponds, finding delight in a world transformed. Newspapers carried stories of heroic rescues and acts of generosity, reminding communities that humanity could shine even under the harshest frost. Faith and prayer offered solace in churches and chapels, spaces of warmth and quiet reflection. In every home, the knowledge that winter was finite, that spring would eventually arrive, infused daily survival with purpose. The cold tested every layer of human resilience, but hope remained a constant, a flame burning invisibly alongside the hearth, sustaining spirits even when the body shivered. The winter of 1963 remains a defining chapter in Britain's story, a testament to endurance in the face of nature's uncompromising force. Looking back, the strategies of stockpiling, layering, communal support, and ingenuity seem simple, yet they were profound acts of defiance against an unforgiving climate. Today, we live in a world of central heating, supermarkets, and instant communication. And yet the lessons of that winter endure. We are reminded that resilience, resourcefulness, and human solidarity are timeless virtues. As we step into modern winters, cushioned by convenience and technology, there is value in remembering the grit of our forebears. Their courage, creativity, and unwavering hope transformed hardship into shared triumph, shaping a culture of quiet endurance. Let us honor that legacy, appreciating warmth not merely as comfort, but as a symbol of human perseverance, and carrying forward the spirit of survival that once kept Britain alive in the frost. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to share this video with your closed one and subscribe to Britain Rewind for more nostalgic content.